Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, the Oppenheimer Ranch News Network, bringing you a spooktacular edition, whatever that means, of the Grand Solar Minimum Update. Sunday, November 1st, right after the spooktacular witching hour. The big story: super typhoon slams into the Philippines. 1 million evacuated as Cat 5 storm ravages the Philippines as I bloviate. A super typhoon slammed into the eastern Philippines with ferocious winds early Sunday. About 1 million people have been evacuated in its projected path, including the capital city, where the main international airport was ordered closed. There are so many people who are really in vulnerable areas, said Ricardo Jalad, who heads the Government Disaster Response Agency. We're expecting major damage. And why wouldn't you? Typhoon Goni hit the island province of Catanduanes at dawn with sustained winds of 225 kilometers. That's 140 miles per hour, gusting to 280 kilometers per hour, or 174 miles per hour, enough to blow a car over, equivalent to a Cat 5 hurricane. It was blowing west towards densely populated regions, including Manila, the strongest typhoon or hurricane seen this year. Well, keep calm. It is 2020. Storm smashes Boston snow record for all of October, dating back to when records began in the 1870s. And the biggest snow total for October since last year. You know that whole, if you don't like the weather in New England, just wait a minute? I never heard that. That's what they say around here. But I guess they say it up there too. What do you get when you combine 5 straight above average warm months with extreme drought? Well, grand solar minimum much? Never in Boston's long and storied weathered history since 1872 has Boston had more than 1.1 inch of snow in October, ever, or any day in that entire month until Friday. They didn't just break the record for snow in October in Boston. They destroyed it, smashing it. They more than tripled it. As of writing, Boston's Logan snow sits at 3.5 and was climbing. Pumpkins are buried, streets are white, trees are sagging, kids are sledding, and Al Gore is nowhere to be seen. Shut up, Al! Get in your hole! Storm smashes Boston snow record. All-time smashing. They got a lashing in Boston, and we got this light lit. So let's get rid of that so you could see us. That's why you came anyway, isn't it? How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Halloween. I hope you didn't get any razor blades in your apples. Powderhorn Ski Resort is eyeing the earliest opening date ever in Colorado. Wow, it's really warm out there. Tropical storm Ada, as predicted, formed today. I've been waiting to do this update until I was correct, obviously. We predicted Ada and Theta will be 2 named storms never before in history, and we've got the first one. Ada has formed. Now, the glorious thing about Ada is it's not coming to Louisiana, Georgia, or Texas, the nexus of the schmexus. It's going to hit Central America, and rightfully so. They are lacking landfalls, and they're going to get one as a hurricane in just a few days. Let's take a look at the telemetry on Ada. There it is. 2-day graphical tropical weather outlook, according to the current satellite, shows it at 40 miles per hour. Thank you, hurricane hunters. Minimal pressure, 1,000.5 millibars. Nothing significant from what we've seen all year. But this baby will increase, move to the left, and drop back down here, somewhere near the Bay of something, near Central somewhere. We got the track, and it is quite correct. So they say. But here's the cone of depression. It's basically going to move due west and then dip a little south and go boom, somewhere here near there, wherever there may be. Is it Costa Rica? I don't even know where it's going to hit. Honduras and Nicaragua are in the warning area. The depression is expected to strengthen into a hurricane early next week. I'm going to say in 2 days it'll be a hurricane as it approaches the coast of Central America late Monday night. Yeah, that's 2 days. And there is a risk of storm surge, hurricane-force winds, and heavy rainfall for portions of Nicaragua and Honduras, where the hurricane watches have been issued. Hurricane warnings could be needed for portions of those areas on Sunday, which will not be a fun day. That's when people board shit up and they go up into the highlands. Now through Thursday evening, heavy rainfall from Eta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Nu, Xi, Omicron. It's Eta, not Eta. Anyone that says Eta never was in a fraternity. Neither was I. I'm not saying anything. Now, we should be looking currently tonight for warnings about flash flooding across portions of Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Central America, which could lead to landslides in areas of higher terrain. Flooding is also possible near the southern coast of Hispaniola. Yeah, Hispaniola is an island out there in the Caribbean, depending on the track of the storm. And we're not dealing with the norm. The first named Eta storm ever in hurricane history is because we named storms earlier this year that really should have been named. So there's that. Now, if we get to Theta, well, there's a different story there. Strong cold front crossing the Great Lakes and the Northeast. Take a look at the Great Lakes. They have flooding, lake flooding all over the eastern margin. Take a look at that. And can we say Lake Michigan much? Hello. I was there last year or the year before. I went to pick up Top Knot. And those homes, the new mansions, because of global warming that they built in the low-lying regions, they're underwater. So those millionaire Democrat voting global warmist nonsense pricks, well, they deserve what they get. And they get what they get. They're like, I'm not moving to the sea. Sea level's rising. I'm going to move to the lakes because lake levels are going to drop forever and they're going to dry up. So the exact opposite of what the media claims is what you get. And you get what you get. Someone told me that once, and it's one of the most prolific things I've ever heard. You get what you get. Yes. Now, the strong cold front will bring brisk and high winds across portions of the Great Lakes and Northeast this weekend. Cold air moving behind from the front will trigger lake effect snow. Ho, ho, ho. We'll get to the models. Down of the Great Lakes and accumulating snow over the high terrain of the Northeast. Gusty offshore winds will maintain elevated fire weather conditions this weekend across the coastal Southern California region. But good news in the models, we're going to have some snow and some moisture dumping in on the Sierras in just 6 days. 6 days that couldn't come sooner enough. Now we have terrible air quality over here at portions of Central Cali, up here in northern Washington. And we've got this whole brown zone. Ugh, Minnesota. Say it ain't soda. What does that even mean? Wind advisory. Why did they change the color? And a swath of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slovenia, 8 states in freeze warnings, including all of Kentucky, except for 4 counties, which means 87 counties are under freeze warning, and all of Tennessee, except for 3 counties, which means 93 counties are under warning, except 3. So there's that. GFS model, let's check out the snow totals. Holy macaroni. Well, those are far out, but those look far out. Take a look at Iowa. Holy sh. I'm sorry, Top Knot, you're still not going to get not even a flake. But the Four Corners region, Colorado, Idaho, Montana. Montana could be a bad scene. Look at these. This is black. This is up here in the 28-inch zone. But what we should glean from this is a massive amount of snow in British Columbia. Beginning now, and look at that, almost a meter of snow dumps simply by the 5th or the 6th up here in BC. But let's look over at the Northeast. I know I moved out of there, but some of you live there. So what we're looking at is November 1st, snow's moving in. We're talking Sunday, tomorrow evening into Monday morning. That's when lake effect snow will start moving into Pennsylvania, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And then that second system comes in, and the first peak of that second system is right here as it moves through British Columbia. Wednesday the 4th, 5th, and here into the 6th. It starts to dump down into Washington Friday morning. Here's your Friday afternoon. Here's your Friday evening, Saturday morning. By Saturday morning, the Sierras will be picking up snow, and it will be getting heavy in Nevada especially heavy in Montana, where they could pick up to 16 inches of isolated snow in certain areas in the high mountains. And that storm's going to move down to the Four Corners region with a little tippy touch in the southwest Colorado area of up to 2 feet, some regions. And that will be next weekend. Peaking on Sunday. Here's your Monday. Here's your Tuesday. That's when that system that we're watching is going to pop up in the Midwest. And we're going to watch these models closely because Tuesday, Wednesday, November 10th and 11th, look like they could be epic in the Midwest. So that's the forecast. Those are the models. Now let's look at the new hockey stick, shall we? North America's October snow cover is now the highest ever in recorded history, similar to Boston's snowfall, which tripled the record set back into 1872. Now, this hockey stick is showing snow totals in North America at 11 gigatons, or whatever what it's actually 10 to the 6 kilometers cubed, which is actually 2 months earlier than the normal position, which is the standard deviation. So, North American October snow cover is now in record territory ever recorded in the last several hundred years, and it's 2 months earlier than we should be. Did you hear that from the mainstream? I haven't heard. I can't find it. Now, let's get to some international weather. Cosmic rays increase, grand solar minimum. We're all fluxed. Where's your helmet? That's all I got to say.
Mom, touch here. Touch right here. Right there, look.
Whoa, it's so cool.
Now, this is not a new phenomenon, but it is certainly an increased phenomenon that we've been predicting. As cosmic rays increase every solar cycle, every 11 years, every hail cycle, every 22 years, we see this increased hail activity. And like clockwork, all the record hail locations happen on these minimums. Can you imagine the grand solar minimum we're going into? Increase over increase over increase. We've been reporting on it over the last 3 years. And this is a situation where a 100-mile stretch during that hail stream, maybe a mile or so wide, was completely decimated. And that's bad news for people in that region. Especially for contractors, that's a big boon. But there's no way that there's enough contractors in this region to take care of this type of situation. We're talking thousands, if not tens of thousands of homes with holes from the roof into the first floor. And I don't think
if you can see, but
I don't think there's enough contractors in Australia to actually cover this damage. It's going to take months to fix this type of damage. Similar to here in the States, when we have a major hail event, literally takes months to get the contractors out there to fix it. So that's just some of the things happening globally. And here we are at the sea ice thickness, which is also a global phenomenon, because globally, the mainstream media is saying that the sea ice has stopped building. There's no more ice building. It's all over, kind of like Joe Biden's winning. But here you can see the actual data and the actual facts. Sea ice has started forming earlier than it has over the last 10 years. It started forming earlier, and it's rising up on the same exact trajectory as it has for decades. In fact, it has now exceeded the 2019 levels, which were pretty significant last year, as of 2 weeks ago. So, sea ice thickness is growing. Here we can see the Northwest Corridor completely blocked. No one got through there this year, and they won't be gutting through there anytime soon. Trust me. Seismic update. Looks like we have a little bit of activity here up in the New Madrid. It's been ongoing for 3 to 5 days. So we're going to keep a close eye on the New Madrid Fault as we look at it, a moderate uptick of moderate upquakes worldwide, especially here north of India and in the Jiggy Zone. So keep a close eye there. Now, rescuers have pulled more than 100 earthquake survivors from the rubble in Izmir. Now, we reported on this the other day. Barely anyone watched the video, which is confirmation to me that the algorithm has crushed us, which is why I need you to click the like button and share this to your people on social media. And also, please ask them to hit the like button as well. We are getting buried in the algorithm. Now, it's days after the effect, but still, people are being pulled from the rubble alive. Rescue efforts continue apace in the western Turkish city of Izmir on Saturday, a day after the powerful earthquake hit the Aegean Sea, causing buildings to come crashing down and claiming the lives of now 39 people. 37 of the deaths were in Turkey, authorities there said, and 2 were in Greece. At least 885 people were injured in Turkey. I wonder if the 2 in Greece were sucked away by that micro tsunami that hit, that the USGS was unable to register. So there's that. Worldwide volcano news update. San Salvador volcano in El Salvador. Last place they need as this hurricane is barreling towards them. Well, actually, it's not barreling towards them. Devastating rain caused landslide on the northeastern flank of the volcano. At least 9 people have been killed after torrential rains caused a landslide on the northeast flank of the volcano. Which volcano, we'll never know. It's probably the San Salvador volcano. But that tore a 4-kilometer path through the village of Los Angelitos, Nevash. 60 homes were buried, 75 damaged. Landslides at San Salvador are a known hazard. Other destructive events happened in 82 and 2001 on the hail cycle. 82, 2001, 2020. You do the math. It's not funny. It's facts. We shove them right down your neck. You know why? Because the mainstream doesn't have the balls to tell you the truth, to be quite honest. Now, let's tell you more truths about clear-cutting the forests. Unnecessary. You can leave the old forest there and prune the trees to grow new trees out of the canopy. And this is what they've been doing in Japan for decades. A Japanese forestry technique prunes the upper branches to create a tree platform for a more sustainable harvest. Now, what this allows them to do is not take the old growth tree away. They simply prune it so it grows new trees in the canopy. Then they can then clear cut these trees on the top, get all the perfect straight wood that they need, and the main tree just simply grows new suckers up into the sky, literally transforming to a platform cedar. Now, it's called daisugi, or a 14th or 15th century technique that offers efficient, sustainable, and visually stunning approach to forestry, and also an intriguing approach to bonsai. So, you learn a lot on this show. And we bring Jennifer Marahasi on here at least once a year, and she's going to be coming on soon. I just talked to her today. I was asking her about all of these articles coming out about a pinnacle of coral that was discovered on the Great Barrier Reef that's as big as the Empire State Building. And I said, Jen, I thought all the coral was bleached and dead. And we all know that that's a fraud. In fact, Australian scientists discover a 500-meter tall coral reef in the Great Barrier Reef, the first ever to be discovered in 120 years. Do you think that's true? I doubt it. But that's what they're saying. But there is good news coming over from the Australian front. Peter Ridd has been picked up by the Supreme Court. They love his case. They're actually going to be passing some laws there to prevent what happened to Peter happening ever again, meaning actual tenured university professors being sacked because of their scientific merit. If they go against the mainstream narrative, they cannot be sacked. And so that's good news coming there. And they might even pick up his case again, and we're going to get it on. And that'll be nice because Peter Ridd deserves a retrial. Scientists have discovered a massive detached coral reef in the Great Barrier Reef, the first to be discovered in 120 years, Schmidt Ocean Institute announced today. Measuring more than 500 meters high, taller than the entire Empire State Building, the Sydney Tower, and the Petronas Twin Towers, the reef was discovered by Australian scientists aboard the Schmidt Ocean Institute research vessel Falkor on a 12-month exploration to prove that Al Gore was wrong. Apparently, we love that ship. Now, interesting breakthrough. I'm sure many of you have seen the headlines, Earth keeps pulsating every 26 seconds. And no one knows why. Well, they must be baffled. But if you simply take 5 minutes and read the article, it actually takes about 3 minutes. You're going to realize that this headline is right there. Total shart. No one knows why. I wonder why that could be. Well, if you come down here, why is Earth pulsating every 26 seconds? And why can't scientists explain it after 6 decades? Well, let's get to the facts. And they hide it here in the clickbait. So the first hypothesis is completely ridiculous. And they're claiming that the wave action on the continental shelf is like a drum. And it happens to pulsate every 26 seconds. But there is no evidence that waves pulsate. There's no evidence that waves come in regularly every 26 seconds. There's no evidence of a recurrent drum on any continental margin ever. So that's like what we call modern science, current science, fairy tales. There's no data to support it. It's just a story they made up. And they're like, yeah, that's our story. Isn't it awesome? And the headline says that no one can explain it. But other researchers think the cause of the volcano is a volcano. Other researchers think it's a volcano. Why would they think that? Is that a fairy tale? They must have made that up. Did they make it up? Well, that's the end of the article. So apparently they made it up. Here it is. Here's the funny thing about the article. Because remember, see I just highlighted that? Let's go back to the headline. Earth keeps pulsating every 26 seconds. No one knows why. One scientist suggests it's the waves hitting the shore, but there's never been anything to support that. But if you come all the way down to the end of the article, which, by the way, is a short article, it says here, first let's get to the history. In the 1960s, a geologist named Jack Oliver first documented the pulse, also known as a microseism. Now, here's the key thing about microseisms. There are other microseisms. So, if it's not a microseism, do you think it could be a microseism? Other researchers think the cause is a volcano. You know why? Because there is similar volcanic microseisms already well documented in Japan at the same interval. 30 seconds, a minute and 10, 12 seconds, repeating for years, like at Sakurajima. So, in the fact that popular mechanics says that no one knows why, and seismologists have known about microseisms in Japan for decades, is a complete fabrication of the facts. They absolutely know why. The first story they present is a fairy tale. Of course that's not true. And then they give the actual facts at the end. They're like, well, we don't know why. It's probably the fairy tale because it couldn't be the other thing that already happens that we know about that happens all the time. It's the same thing. Probably not. Now, how do you think geologists reveal the secrets of the solar system? I thought that was astronomers and astrologers, plasma physicists. They're all fairy tale tellers. And the number one fairy tale teller is the astronomers. The classical model of stars and planets and all that is total nonsense. Almost 100% disproven in my lifetime. Yet, the same textbooks, the same narrative, the same story of solar disks and accretion of planets and all that other BS is taught to every single, all 8 billion people on the planet that take that class. That's how stupid the whole earth is. Indoctrinated into bad science and propaganda. And it's continuing today at epic proportions. And if you want to know who the real scientists are, I just pat myself on the back. It's geologists, and more specifically, field geologists with a background in petrology, stratigraphy, and climatology. If you have that as your background, you're probably the smartest scientist on the planet, because petrographers or petrologists, they study rocks in thin section under the microscope. And what we learn in undergraduate and graduate work is how to determine where that rock came from based on the mineralogy. So if you give me a thin section of rock, put it under the petrographic microscope, and I look at it and maybe do a little bit of polarization or whatever I need to do, I can tell you exactly where on earth that came from based on all the information that I gleaned at university. Astronomers can't do that. Plasma physicists can't do that. No one in the field of planetary scientists can do that unless they are a geologist that studied that field. We are the experts in rocks, no matter where they come from, which is where planetary geology came from. Geologists were given these rocks that were extraterrestrial, and we had the expertise to cut them on diamond blades, put them on a thin section, and look at them in optical microscopes. And that gave us the edge. Geologists today are either paid off at the university due to their funding requirements, or they have balls like Diamond, and they tell you the truth. Tony Heller as well. And all the most awesome people that are speaking in our realms that are scientists, guess who they are? Geologists. So if you want to know how geologists reveal the secrets of the solar system, it's because we actually can touch the rocks, we can cut them, we can look at them, and we can call you on your bullshit. Hope you got something out of the video. Times are changing. Geologists are doing the same thing, studying all aspects from a multidisciplinary approach and giving you the facts. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance when the Earth is entering cosmic catastrophe zone. Magnetic reversal, grand solar minimum. Shit's about to hit the fan. We love each and every one of you. Our 11 new Patreons. Ciao. Be safe. And that's boom.